Africa has seen numerous leaders who have held power for an extended period of time, often spanning for decades. This frequent tenure or long stay in office can be attributed to post-colonial stability, one-party states, military backing, military coup, or forceful coup, and that is how these leaders have stayed in power for long. Or will I call them vampires, since they are hungry and thirsty for power and will not allow their nation to grow. I'll tell you the story of each and every one of these leaders as I mention their name, their countries, and give you details of how they got in power and how long they have stayed in this power, crumbling the economy and allowing their citizens to live in abject poverty. Let me first of all tell you about Teodoro Obiang of Equatorial Guinea. He came to power 3rd of August 1979, where he overthrew his uncle and took over power. He then transited from military to presidency in 1982. He has been in power for 7 years as of February 2026. That is how long he has been. I'll tell you about the laws and decrees that he has signed to enable him to get this far. He signed a decree in 2006 banning abuse and improper treatment of prisoners, which led to Black Beach prison renovations. In these prisons, in these renovations, if you see anything against Teodoro Obiang, you will be imprisoned. Even human rights organizations have called for concerns on the treatment of people in Eritrea. Despite the 2006 decree, there were laws enabling arbitrary arrests and torture in Equatorial Guinea. There were restrictions on assembly and media. Every independent media were restricted under Obiang's rule. There were severe restrictions on expressions. Criminal libel and threats to national security were labeled against opponents that were running against Teodoro Obiang. Let me tell you about Biya of Cameroon. He came to power November 6, 1982. He transitioned from being a prime minister to a president. He was a prime minister in 1975. He has been in power for about 44 years. That is how long Biya has been in power. In fact, the people of Cameroon have not seen Biya in a long time, citing health concerns and his ability to rule the country. But his presidency are running the government for him. In 2008, there was a constitutional revision removing presidential term limits and granting immunity. There were laws enabling crackdown on opposition coalition. He enabled prolonged rule and repression of arrests. He used excessive force and arbitrary arrest against those speaking against his government, especially journalists and opposition parties. Let me tell you about Denis Sassou Nguesso of the Republic of Congo. He came into power in 1979 and he ruled till 1992 after he lost one of the elections. He came back in 1997 and since then he has been in power till today. He has been in power for about 41 years throughout his ruling. Calculated from 1979 to 1992 and from 1997 till today is about 41 years in power. In 2015, there was a constitutional referendum removing term and age limits for running in office. He enabled indefinite rule. He facilitated crackdowns on opposition leaders against him. Congo, Brazzaville, rich in oil, rich in resources, and about 40% of the population are living in poverty. He has positioned his son to take over, Denis Sassou, who is also playing a major role in the parliament. How long will the people of Congo continue to suffer under this kind of rulership? Let me tell you about Yoweri Museveni of Uganda. He came into power January 26, 1986, after conducting a bush war and overthrowing all other regimes. People had high hopes for Museveni. The people were happy with him that they have found a savior that will rescue Uganda and bring them out of their broken states. But Museveni disappointed them. Museveni has been in power for about 40 years This same Museveni criticized other leaders for staying in office for a long period of time, but now he himself has been in power for over 40 years. He won the election that was conducted this year, 2026, and won. The people of Uganda are tired. But let me tell you some of the things he did. In 2005, he scrapped the term limits. As his time for the second term was coming to an end, he scrapped the term limits. In 2017, he also removed the age limits, the presidential age limits. That is Yoweri Museveni of Uganda. And how long he has ruled the people of Uganda, Uganda will rise one day. Let me tell you about Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea. He came to power in 1993, post-independence from Ethiopia. He has been the president since 1993 till 2026. The people of Eritrea have not known any other president except him. And he himself also said there's no need for democracy in Africa. He may be somehow right, because democracy seems to be failing in the continent of Africa. There's no need for elections, according to him. Afwerki postponed elections indefinitely. He brought indefinite military service to the people of Eritrea. He brought laws banning independent media and restricted the freedoms of people. For example, punishing dissent as threats. There were systemic arbitrary detention. There was no rule of law in Eritrea. The people of Eritrea have only known one president. With all these leaders in office for a long period of time, the West, the defenders of democracy, are aware and still in business with these leaders. They sign deals, security pacts, they shake hands at summits. The US work with Museveni on strategic interests. France also worked with some of these countries. But as long as those leaders don't touch the interests of the West, nothing is going to happen. There are companies that are invested in Teodoro Obiang's oil. And this is how these leaders keep ruling the people until they are old age or they even die in office. These are the longest serving head of states or presidents in the world. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.